Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Broad Points Podcast. I am your host, the broad that points, the broad with the points. It's me, Tyler, the lady. I thought I'd give you guys an extra day with last week's fundamental phrase since it came out on a Wednesday. I know, you guys, the days that these come out really doesn't matter. Yes, consistency is important. I will admit that. Consistency is important. Then people know where and when to find you. Also, is time even real? Oh, goodness. Seriously, thank you guys for being here for another episode. This is my last episode as a 31-year-old, which is pretty crazy to think about because I feel like it just started. It has been a 30-wonderful year, as Matt deemed it for me early on. I loved it. I really had a great year this year, and so I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of reflecting on that and get into a fundamental phrase. What do we think, guys? Let's do it. All right. So, in review of this past year, I've come up with a couple of different subject matters. So there are three different ones. The first is firsts. So, in my 31st year on this planet, I did have some firsts. It was my first time being able to go to London, hello, and Wembley Stadium and see Linkin Park, which I never thought that I would be able to do. I also went to Vans Warped Tour for the first time. I was able to see 3OH!3 for the first time. I also saw Cartel for the first time. It was actually my first concert, I think, in Long Beach as well, but just lots of really awesome things happening this year. Something stupid. That was also my first. I used ChatGPT for the first time. Yep, my first time using ChatGPT was this year, and I used it one time. On what, do you ask? Are you asking, what did Tyler use ChatGPT for? Well, let me tell you. I used it to establish, or rather confirm, my color palette. There are people out there who are using ChatGPT to write them letters, to build them resumes, to, all sorts of things people are using ChatGPT for. And I just think that it's hilarious that my first time using ChatGPT was to just solidify what the heck is my color palette? What color palette goes best with my skin tone, my hair, my eyes? I learned it's a lot of neutrals. And it's kind of funny because at the beginning of 31, I had started it with a blank slate. And by blank slate, I mean I was doing my nails very consistently. I mean, I've got a gel set here. I think it's kind of silly if you can do it yourself at home to be paying upwards of $30 every time you need your nails done. That's just me. I started out last year with white. Because to me, starting out with white nails was like having a blank canvas for the year. This year could be anything that I wanted it to be. And so with this, I'm going to go ahead and jump in to the fundamental phrase, which is dare to dream. Dare to dream, you guys. We have to be willing to dare to dream. And if you watched Blades of Glory, you might also know the phrase, if you can dream it, you can do it. Really, like anything that we can set our minds to, we can do. And starting out last year, this year, whatever you want to call it, with a blank canvas really just allowed me to focus on myself and what I wanted to be able to do, and really being able to see the life that I was bringing together. And so I really love starting with a blank canvas. Might even do it again this year, because every year, every day, honestly, every moment, every interaction is a chance to make a change. It's a chance to start over. It's a chance to operate as if you are or have a blank canvas. And so, continue on with our topics here. Lasts. I did have some lasts this year. And before I go into lasts, I will say there was probably some more firsts. That there's just honestly too many firsts. It was the first time that I really found love for myself and for the community that I have been building, for the life that I have been building. I could go on forever on firsts. Let's jump into lasts, right? Because with everything that we encounter in this life, there are some things that we need to let go of. I don't know why, that sometimes it's just hard to let go of stuff. And so I wanted to really make sure to focus on these things, to highlight these things, to acknowledge that I saw these things happening so that I could say that I will not stand for them in the future. Right? I don't know if you guys remember, once upon a time there was a tool. We'll just reiterate this tool for you. You can do this at the end of every day, at the end of every week. Piece of paper. Draw a line down the middle of it. What worked? And then what didn't work? This is the what didn't work this last year for me. Right? So this was the last time this last year that anybody will be yelling at me, period, but especially in public. If you have something to say to someone, yelling does not help get the point across. It doesn't. Your attitude, your judgment, your yelling, none of it helps. It doesn't. It really, And it didn't make me feel good either. You know. If you're the person, you probably honestly don't know because you're just not aware, and that's okay. We cannot be aware of our actions. But I also don't have to enable, encourage, or support those types of actions. And so that was the last time this last year that somebody's going to be yelling at me. I don't stand for that. I'm not yelling at other people these days, except for that one person that almost hit me in that car. But they were in a car and they were driving away, right? Was I going to whisper to them? We don't yell at our friends. We shouldn't be yelling at people, period. We definitely don't yell at our friends, right? So that was the last time I'm standing for that. This is 31. We're done. 31, we're done with the bullshit. Not standing for it. And the other last for this year is prioritizing others' needs before my own. Yes, if we live a life that is dictated by what other people need and what other people want, there will be no time left for ourselves. There will be no time left for our priorities, which really should be at the top of the list. Why are we putting other people above ourselves? If we don't take care of ourselves, we can help no one. No one gets help when we have nothing left to give. And so that is why this last year, there was a couple different times when I was prioritizing other people. I was worrying about other people. Honestly, people can figure it out. I think that we need to trust that people can figure it out and that they don't need us, because at the end of the day, we can't make anybody change. I'll say it until I die. We cannot make anybody change. We cannot make anybody do anything that they don't want to do. And so rather than chaining yourself to a sinking ship, hop on that dinghy and go towards your goals. Yes, go towards your goals. And let's give a little gratitude for section number 3, the lessons. The lessons of this year. Life is always filled with lessons and little, I feel like, winks and nudges of just, hey, did you get that? And I got some things. Let me tell you about the things that I got. So, the first thing that came up for me this year as I was reflecting on lessons is live a life that you don't have to take a vacation from. Yeah. Can you imagine if you're just living a life where every day you're doing something that brings you joy, that checks off the values on your value list, and is also sustainable? Yes, sustainability. Would you rather work yourself out so hard one day because maybe you ate too much the day before and then not be able to work out for 4 days? Or would you rather work out consistently every day so that you do not have to take any days off? Yes, you guys, I feel like option number 2, that's the option for me. You know, I go on walks. I'm not trying to kill myself on these morning walks. I really am dialing into my senses. I'm dialing into my body. People are like, on a 3.5-mile walk, you're doing all that? Yes, I am. I am. I'm working very, very hard to be myself, and to be yourself, you have to know yourself. And that means silence. It means moving the tiniest little bits of your body and really getting to know all of your muscles, all of your joints, and how you connect to this planet. Because we are all connected. We are all connected on this planet. We all make this planet work. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The second lesson that I learned this year is to communicate with love and compassion. And now, those two things have always been important, and I've always understood those, but I'm not one to lie. I'm not one to shy away from the fact that I was once a very angry person. I did do some yelling. I did some screaming, honestly. Top of my vocal range, as loud as I could possibly scream, I was screaming. I was so pissed as a child. I was such an angry child, and I did not know how to communicate it. And I just didn't know, honestly, how to express it at all. And so although I do see where other people are coming from, I recognize that I am no longer there. And I will no longer stand for it. I will not be the yeller. I will not be the yelled at. Neither part are a part that I want to play in this world. There are too many roles to be filled in this movie that we call life. You can be any role in this movie that you want to be if you just do it. And that is why lesson number 3 for this year is go after what you want. Just like the fundamental phrase, you guys, we have to dare to dream. We have to go after it. It helps, I'm going to say, to write it down, to know what you're going after. I actually have it's cool and lame planner where it's a completely blank planner that just has some motivational stuff in it, and it's all blank. You have to fill in all of the dates, all of the holidays, all of the everything. You have to fill it in yourself. It also has a goals section. So maybe you have a planner that just has a blank section in the back, and that's where you can write your goals, right? But having your goals written out, I mean, I was just going back through this year, which I did start in January, but I like to reflect on my birthday. It's a little bit past midway, but midway point of the year. I already checked off a lot of my goals for 2025, and that's really exciting to me. The fact that I'm actually making progress on the goals, and, I might have been making progress on my goals in the previous years, but to be able to actually check them off, to say, I've already done that, what else do I want to do? The more that we acknowledge our accomplishments, the more that we celebrate and show gratitude for the progress that we've made, the further we can go on this journey. And so I'm very excited to continue on this next year of my life, older, wiser. Age doesn't matter, by the way. I know there's a lot of people who are freaking out about age and wrinkles and gray hairs and a lot of really, honestly, I'm going to say it, shallow things. You guys, it's shallow when we are worried about the things on the surface. Everything is happening for a reason, and I feel like the more you stress about it, like, the worse it's gonna be. I mean, I feel like, doesn't that cause gray hairs? Like, shouldn't we just all be chilling and just accepting and loving ourselves? It's crazy to think that that is not something that's programmed into society. Alas, here we are. You can choose. You can choose how you want to believe, what you want to believe. You can choose where you want to go and what you want to go after. You can also choose what kind of shoes you put on your feet in the morning and in the evening. I don't know what time you're leaving your house. Maybe you work the nights. Maybe you work the days. Maybe you work a mid. Whenever you're putting your shoes on, whenever you're going out into the world, you decide what kind of shoes that you want to put on. You can also decide if you want to be connected to the planet when you put on said shoes. I personally enjoy being connected to the planet. Mind, body, planet experience. And I really do love Xero shoes. Xero shoes with an X, you guys. They're the minimalist shoe that if you buy with my affiliate link, you simultaneously pay me when you buy your shoes. You can do that by going to xeroshoes.com/go/Tyler the Lady. And if you would like to follow me on social media only, not in person, that's not appropriate, and I will call the police, at Broadpoints or at Tyler the Lady. And if social media is not for you, I get it. Email broadpointspodcast@gmail.com. Now, one more time with that fundamental phrase for the week. Dare to dream.